Hello everybody, this is Truckula. He's part of the family. I've had him for probably 10 or 12 years or something like that. I named him after my favorite hot rod of all time, which is Dragula, that Grandpa Munster drove in the Munsters. Anyways, I wanted to mix up the videos a little bit and use Truckula as something, an analogy of something cool that God showed me. This is an airbag, and there's 4 of these on this guy, and it causes the truck to go up and down when I hit the switches. And I was having some sort of leak, and I couldn't figure out what the heck it was going on. And I got up under there, and I was checking all the air lines, and I was checking all the valves and everything that I knew to check to see what the issue was. And finally, after about 20-30 minutes, I prayed, and I said, God, would you just show me what the heck's going on? And right when I prayed that, I put my hand up right on the airbag on a hole. And I had checked everywhere else but that. And I'm sure you guys can relate to, us beating our heads up against the wall till finally we'll ask God for help, and then he'll show us. And so I thought, man, God, why do I wait so long to ask you for wisdom, And my friend came out and he was like, did you find the problem? And I said, yeah. He said, I don't know why it took me 20 minutes to ask God, but I did. And then he showed me and we started laughing because he's had similar circumstances, obviously. And I was getting ready to drive away and my lights weren't working. So I asked God right away, God, will you show me what's going on? And then I figured out the problem, or I didn't figure it out. God showed me the problem right away. And as I was driving away, God said something super cool that I wanted to share, hoping that it'll inspire you guys. He said, you've come across a lot of things in this life that are bigger than you, and it's caused you to back down and prevent you from walking in a fuller measure of my promises for you. And I thought, man, I know that's true. There's a lot of things that I've tried, and it seems like it came to the end of myself, so I just kind of gave up on it. And the interesting thing that I felt like God said, he said, well, you had every right to give up on it because it was a lot bigger than you are. I thought, man, that's not very encouraging. But it made me think of the Promised Land and how the Israelites were being led through the desert into the Promised Land. And then they saw the giants and they were like, we can't go in there. We're like grasshoppers in the sights of these giants, and it prevented them from going in, except for Caleb and, Joshua. And so I thought, man, and God's saying there's so many things that are available to you because of what I've accomplished on the cross. I finished it on the cross. And he said, there's a lot of things that you've come up against in this life that are bigger than you. And there's a lot of things you're going to come up against that are bigger than you. He said, but my promise to you is there's nothing that you're going to come up against that's bigger than me. I thought, man, Jesus, that is so cool and so encouraging. And like I said, I was thinking about the Promised Land and all the things Jesus has done for us on the cross that's available to us. But I thought it takes me getting humbled over and over and over again to where it doesn't take me 20 minutes to ask God, God, will you show me? Will you show me what's going on in this situation? I don't want to put my faith in my understanding or my ability to figure it out. I want you to show me. I want to depend on you, and I want to be in relationship with you as we do this together, which I know is the Father's heart. And so that whole thing happened, and it was a really cool message that I felt like God was really speaking to my heart. And it made me think of Proverbs 3:5, where it's saying, this is the Christopher translation, but it's basically saying, trust in God with all of your heart. Lean not on your understanding, acknowledge God in all of your ways, and he'll guide your steps. But the good news is God's steps for us are farther and farther and farther into the Promised Land. And he'll allow situations and circumstances in our lives to allow us to come to the end of ourselves, to where we'll come into a greater measure of what Jesus has accomplished on the cross. And then along the way, that relationship is established as we walk in the miraculous because of who he is in us, not because of our ability to figure it out. And I really hope that encourages some of you guys that are coming up against situations right now to where you're like, God, I can't do this. I can't figure this out. And God's saying, I know you can't, but lean on me because I'm so much bigger than any circumstance or any situation that's coming against you. And I wanted to share one more brief testimony because I really felt like it kind of summed this up. And the circumstances can be financial, they can be, just circumstantial in any way, shape, or form. But this is a physical circumstance that was a giant in my life. One of my really good friends that I mountain bike with, one of my best friends, him and his wife are super cool people, and they're really active. They like to hike a lot. But his wife got sciatica. And basically she lost a lot of feeling in her leg, and it was just painful all the time. When she would walk just a short distance, it was, excruciating pain. And so this had been going on for a good few months, and it was horrible to watch because watching somebody so active, go to being in a pretty much constant pain. So we would pray for her a lot, and we weren't really seeing any victory in her life, but continuing to stand in faith. And one day they were dropping me off from mountain biking, and as they were driving away, I heard God say, if you trust me with the sciatica, if you trust me with her body, it has to leave, meaning the pain has to leave, and the kingdom of heaven has to break in through the faith. And I thought, man, that's so encouraging. Yes, God, I'll totally trust you with her body. I totally will trust you with her. And so Monday night, we were doing a group at her house at that time, their house. And in passing, we were in the kitchen, and I told her, I said, God said something interesting to me when you guys dropped me off the other day. I heard him say, if we trust him with your body, the pain has to leave. And she said, amen. And that was pretty much the extent of it. We were totally just, like I said, in passing. So she walked out, and we continued to have our prayer night. And about a week later, she texted me and she said, ever since that happened on Monday night, I've had zero pain. And I thought, how miraculous is that? We simply acknowledge Jesus. We trust what he's already done. And the key is not backing down. And I know you've been facing circumstances in your life to where God's allowed you to come to the end of yourself and you trust Jesus, but there's no breakthrough. But that word faith in the Bible so many times is talking about a faith that won't back down, that will choose to trust Jesus regardless of what the circumstance looks like. And it's bringing you to the end of yourself, but it's bringing you into a greater revelation and dependence on Jesus. And I know that there are situations, like I said, that are coming up against you that God's allowing to happen so the miraculous and the kingdom can break into your life. And don't give up. Just continue to stay in faith and watch the kingdom of heaven manifest in your life in ways that it never has before. I hope that encouraged you guys. God bless.